Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share, so let's get started. Let me begin by saying I never imagined I'd be telling this story because, for the longest time, I refused to believe it myself. My name is Donald, and if you've ever been in a relationship where things suddenly take an unexpected turn, then you'll want to hear this. You see, when most men hear their wives say, "I need space," they panic. But if you ever find yourself in this situation, let me give you some advice. Don't beg, don't argue, play it smart. Now, let's go back to the beginning. 15 years. That's how long Genevieve and I had been married. We weren't perfect, no couple is. But I always believed we had a strong foundation. We had weathered struggles, arguments, highs, and lows. Yet at the end of the day, we were a team, or at least, that's what I thought. Then, something shifted. Conversations grew shorter. She started staying up later than usual, her phone in hand, the screen illuminating her face in the dark. When I asked what she was doing, she'd casually dismiss it with, just scrolling, or texting a friend. At first, I brushed it off. Everyone deserves a little privacy, right? But the more I paid attention, the more I noticed. She began laughing at messages she wouldn't share with me. She guarded her phone, tilting the screen away and setting it face down on the table. Then came the moments when she'd receive a text, and, instead of replying right away, she'd pick up her phone and leave the room. That's when unease started creeping in. If you've been with someone long enough, you just know when something feels off. I tried convincing myself I was overthinking it, making a big deal out of nothing, but deep down, I knew better. One evening, she sat me down, a serious expression on her face. I remember it vividly. We had just finished dinner. She placed her fork down, took a deep breath, and looked me straight in the eyes. "Donald, I need space to find myself." My brain processed the words instantly, but my body remained completely still. No reaction, just a quiet sinking feeling in my chest. But I didn't let it show. Instead, I slowly nodded and leaned back in my chair. "Space, huh?" I repeated, my voice calm, almost amused. I made sure not to sound angry or hurt, just mildly curious. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that the person who remains composed holds the real power. She hesitated, as if she hadn't expected me to take it so lightly. That's when I knew. This wasn't about needing time alone to reflect or some sort of midlife crisis. There was something more. My gut told me so, and when your instincts scream at you, you listen. I asked what exactly she meant. Did she need time alone in the house? Did she want to go somewhere? Was she feeling overwhelmed? Her responses were vague and empty. "I just need to figure things out." Figure what out? I watched her closely. The way she avoided eye contact, the way her fingers fidgeted. At that moment, I made a decision. I wasn't going to bombard her with 100 questions she had no intention of answering. Instead, I would uncover the truth myself. People often say, "Trust your partner." I say, "Trust your instincts." And my instincts were on high alert. In the days that followed, I started investigating. Sometimes, the truth isn't buried deep. It's right in front of you, waiting for someone to notice. First, I checked her phone records. Nothing elaborate, just a simple check to see if a particular number appeared repeatedly. And sure enough, one did, over and over again. Next, I scrolled through her social media, focusing on the subtle details. Who was liking her posts? Who was commenting? More importantly, who had she recently started following again? That's when I saw it, a familiar name. A name I hadn't heard in years. Her high school boyfriend, the one she dated before me. The guy she used to reminisce about like some long-lost love from her teenage years. A story without a true ending, yet there he was, back in her life. Initially, I kept my cool, convincing myself it might be innocent, just two old friends reconnecting. But then I saw the messages, The lengthy chats, the emojis, the just reminiscing about old times texts, the kind of conversations that had no place in a married woman's inbox. I could have woken her up that very moment and demanded answers, but I didn't. I stayed silent, because when someone tells you they need space, they've already taken it. The choice was made long before they put it into words. They just want you to suffer through it, so they can carry less guilt. Here's the thing. When a woman asks for space, she expects you to chase her. She assumes you'll call, text show up with flowers, and beg for another chance. But I did the opposite. I gave her exactly what she asked for. If she didn't reach out, neither did I. When she spoke to me, I kept my responses brief, polite yet distant. No coldness, no passive aggression, just calm detachment. Instead of wasting energy trying to win her back, I focused on myself. First stop, the gym. I pushed myself harder than I had in years. Not to impress her, but because it felt damn good to channel my energy into something that actually benefited me. Next, I revamped my wardrobe, swapping out the old and worn out for sharp, well-fitted outfits. A fresh haircut, a clean shave. Each morning, I faced a mirror and saw a man who wasn't waiting to be chosen. The best part? I rebuilt my social life. I started going out again, reconnecting with friends I had neglected while prioritizing my marriage. Instead of making excuses, I accepted invitations. When Friday night rolled around, I wasn't home wondering where she was. I was out living my life. Genevieve had her circle. The friends she confided in, the ones who reassured her she deserved happiness. But those same women, they noticed a change in me almost immediately. When I ran into them, I wasn't the devastated, heartbroken husband they had expected. I was confident, relaxed, and enjoying myself. I smiled more, joked easily, and kept conversations engaging, and they noticed. At first, it was just subtle, an extra glance, a lingering smile, a casual wow. Donald, you're looking good these days. Then, the compliments grew, curiosity piqued, and Genevieve saw it too. She noticed the way they laughed at my jokes, how they leaned in just a little closer when speaking to me. At first, she embraced her newfound freedom, reassuring herself she had made the right choice, that she just needed space to breathe, to explore, to figure things out. But soon, the shift in dynamics became impossible to ignore. Her excitement turned to unease. She wasn't expecting the changes in me. She thought I'd be sulking, waiting for her return, desperate to prove my worth. Instead, I had rewritten the script. The first signs of her jealousy were subtle, fleeting expressions she tried to suppress. But I caught them. The way she stiffened when her friends giggled around me, playfully touching my arm. The way her closest friend became noticeably friendlier toward me, throwing compliments my way at every opportunity. I wasn't doing anything special, just being my best self. And it was working. Genevieve took notice, and that's when reality hit her. The very thing she thought she wanted distance was now working against her. The realization that she was losing me gnawed at her. One evening, as I lounged in the living room, she walked in casually and, as if nothing had happened, asked, "How was your day?" I didn't react the way she expected. When she asked about my day, I simply replied, "It was good." No elaboration, no excitement, just a neutral, composed answer. My tone remained polite yet distant, warm but detached. I wasn't cold, I wasn't cruel, but I made sure she felt the shift. She was no longer my priority. The realization hit her instantly. She had expected enthusiasm, a spark of hope, a sign that I was still hanging on. But that wasn't the game anymore. I had changed the rules. That moment was the beginning of her awakening. A few days later, she tried again, this time putting in effort. She initiated conversations, not just empty pleasantries, but real discussions, asking about my plans, commenting on my appearance, making it clear she had noticed the transformation. Then came the inevitable suggestion, a date night. We should go out sometime, just the two of us. Maybe dinner, I knew exactly what she was doing, slipping back in, hoping I'd leap at the chance to reconcile. But I wasn't about to make it that easy. I kept my response cool. A simple nod. Maybe, let me check my schedule. That answer crushed her. She had anticipated an immediate yes, a sign that I was relieved she was returning. Instead, she was left with the same uncertainty she had once given me, the same ambiguity she forced me to endure. And it didn't stop there. Suddenly, she started dressing up, wearing outfits she knew I liked, styling her hair, spritzing on perfume. Even when she wasn't going anywhere, the little details were obvious. She wasn't doing it for herself. She was doing it for my attention. But I didn't bite. I remained calm, collected, and in control. It was only a matter of time before she broke. And then one night it happened. She finally said the words I knew were coming, but refused to drag out of her. Sitting across from me, eyes filled with hesitation, she admitted, "I think I made a mistake." Her voice was softer now, uncertain. "I don't need space. I need us." I leaned back, letting the silence stretch between us, watching her face as she waited for my response. Finally, I spoke. "I gave you space because you asked for it. But now, I'm not sure I want to go back to how things were." Her expression collapsed. That's when she realized the power had shifted. The regret in her eyes was unmistakable. She knew she had played herself. But at that point, it didn't matter anymore. "I'm done," I said, my voice steady. "You wanted space, and I realized I deserved someone who never needed it in the first place." And just like that, it was over. I watched as she sat there, stunned, unable to comprehend how the man she assumed would always be waiting had slipped through her fingers. The so-called high school sweetheart? A joke, a distraction. He was never serious about her. Just a fleeting past trying to relive old memories before retreating back to his own life. The separation took months to finalize. But before it was all said and done, she confessed, I regret it. I regret all of it. By then, it was too late. I had moved on. I was already in a better place with someone who actually valued what I had to offer. And she was left alone. So, tell me, was I wrong for handling it this way? Should I have given her another chance? Some might say, you should have fought for your marriage. But let me ask you, fought for what? For someone who was ready to discard me the moment she thought she had a better option? For someone who only realized my worth when she saw other women appreciating me? That's not love. That's possession. She didn't want me. She just didn't want to lose me to someone else. And there's a big difference. Here's something I learned the hard way. When a woman says she needs space, she's already made up her mind. She's just not brave enough to give you the full truth. She's not asking for time to think. She's asking for room to explore her options without the weight of guilt. And the moment you start pleading, trying to convince her otherwise, she loses even more respect for you. Because now, you've confirmed what she suspected. You're desperate, and she believes she can do better. Listen up, fellas. If your woman ever hits you with that "I need space" nonsense, don't chase her. Don't beg. Don't flood her phone with messages about how much you love her. That's exactly what she expects. And when you do it, you make her choice easier. Instead, give her exactly what she asked for, but on your terms. Pull back. Focus on yourself. Hit the gym. Elevate your wardrobe. Go out with friends. And make sure she sees you thriving without her. Let her feel the absence of the man she thought she could replace so easily. And here's the crazy part. Once she sees that other women are noticing you, that you're moving forward instead of waiting around, she'll start questioning everything. She'll wonder if she made a mistake. Jealousy will creep in, and suddenly, she's the one chasing you. And when that happens, you decide if she's even worth taking back. At the end of the day, this is about self-respect. Never let anyone treat you like a backup plan. Know your worth. And if someone needs to lose you to recognize it, let them lose you for good. So, what would you have done? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them. And if you've been through something similar, let me know how you handled it. Until next time, stay sharp and take care.